Welcome to the Side Action Podcast, the sports gambling show that covers everything in the world of sports betting from A through Z. We'll cover the four major sports, as well as anything and everything in between worth some action, and will increase the size of your bankroll. And here we go.
All right, welcome to Side Action, take two, episode 28 of season 4. My name is Jim Weglars, a.k.a. Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on Twitter and on Instagram.
And this is Steve Roberts, a.k.a. Action. You can follow me on Twitter at 31sroberts.
Follow the podcast at Side Action Pod on Twitter. So we're here. We're in Vegas, baby. Vegas. It's Bally's. Woohoo! We're at some bar in the Bally's Casino. You can see behind us there's some action going on. It's pretty loud in here. I'm repping my Side Action t-shirt. Action's looking good. He's got his beard going. Here we are. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you.
You too.
So how was your weekend? Obviously, you missed the St. Patrick's Day weekend, but how was your San Diego weekend?
It was nice. We were in San Diego since Friday with the family. We have family in from Switzerland, as well as met up with some folks from Arizona, and we all shared a house in Mission Beach, San Diego. Did some surfing and, bodyboarding,
Nice.
volleyball.
Nice, little beach volleyball. I saw that.
And some partying at Pacific Beach
Shore Club. That's right.
It was a good time. How was St. Patty's Day?
St. Patty's was great. You know, it's Chicago's Mardi Gras. We're going to go crazy. It was freezing out there. It was like 22 degrees, 10-degree wind chill. It froze my face off, but I saw the river. It was green, still green. Like usual. Got to hit a tent at Hard Rock Cafe. A lot of fun, and had a good time. I mean, I didn't have quite as much fun as I normally do because I had to take my kid back to the airport, but all in all, it was a good time. And I was going to say that, we were talking about Pacific Beach 4 years ago, Action, San Diego. That's where we deemed him Action because he was on his Action app. This before all the gambling went viral.
True, yeah.
And we were kind of teasing him about it. And then 2 months later, we decided to do this podcast. So that's kind of where it all started.
That's right, yeah, I forgot about that. The original San Diego trip.
That's right.
Is where this all started, and then we kicked off the podcast and been going strong.
That's right. 4 seasons
Season 4.
Season 4. Well, let's jump into it, Action. Let's look at your index. Obviously, you like to review this after each week, and what do you see different as it emerges into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I was kind of surprised to see that Houston is as high as they are, up to 4 now in the index, which, after their performance against Memphis, though, I guess isn't all that surprising because they were awesome on Sunday. Really shocked me. And I also show Kentucky as being a little bit higher, ranked 3rd in my index compared to their number 2 seeding.
Right.
And from there, you've got Baylor and Kansas that round out the top 6.
Right, and I was looking at, Tennessee's an 8 seed here, but obviously they're only a 3 seed in the tournament. We'll talk about them in a minute. I like Iowa, who did run through the Big Ten, and I was on them along the way, won some bets this weekend myself, so
nice.
We'll see how we set it up. I mean, you posed the question here, can these major conference tournament winners roll this into a championship run? And as we were kind of reviewing this before the podcast, I kind of think Virginia Tech could make a run, not into the championship, but maybe a Sweet 16 run. They definitely caught fire at the right time.
Yeah, they were really great in the ACC tournament. They could have lost their first round game. They hit a buzzer beater on Wednesday or Thursday even to get that far. And ultimately, it turns out that they probably would have missed the tournament if they didn't win on Saturday night against Duke.
Yeah, look at Texas A&M. They missed it outright. I thought they were going to make the field.
True.
They get to the SEC final. Wasn't enough. Kansas won the Big 12, no surprise. And then what about your comments on the Mountain West? I know Boise State won it. They won the regular season and the tournament, but you're a little down on the Mountain West.
Yeah, I am. I think the Mountain West in general is a little bit overseeded. And Boise State, despite winning the conference tournament and the regular season, they have a really tough matchup with Memphis.
Right.
We saw last night that Wyoming got off to a rough start against Indiana, and I suspect that we might see a trend developing, which we've seen the last several years, too. The Mountain West has underperformed in the tournament as a whole.
Yeah, I don't love Colorado State's matchup. We'll talk about them in a minute. They're 6th seed. I think they're a little overseeded, so we'll dig into that in the matchups. So then we've got, obviously, the Pac-12. I think this is a team that could win it all in Arizona. They ran the table, so they look pretty good. You like Villanova out of the Big East.
Villanova is probably the cream of the crop in the Big East. Obviously, we've talked about Providence enough. on this podcast, but Colin Gillespie is a surefire point guard that I think is a key component to every March run, and Villanova's going to be tough again this year.
Right. I'm sorry I got distracted by your text here. Dempsey, who's in Night Ranger, who's already is obviously searching for his prey. He found a twin, apparently a doppelganger, in a near kilt skirt there. We were talking about that earlier. Maybe we'll see some kilts at the pool tomorrow at Stadium Swim.
I hope not. I prefer bikinis over kilts.
Of course. What about Tennessee? I think I mentioned them before. I thought they were undefeated. They ran through the SEC. I believe it's the toughest division or toughest conference in America this year. They got a 3 seed. I mean, that really, maybe not. I mean, they weren't the top of the SEC in the regular season, but winning that tournament's tough.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC is definitely, between them and the Big 12, one of the 2 best conferences this year. But, I mean, it's pretty clear that the committee decided that the conference tournaments aren't really important for seeding because ultimately they should have been a 2, but they're a 3, and they have a fairly easy region. I mean, they'll have to face off Villanova, I believe, to make it to the Elite 8. And I just don't trust Rick Barnes, personally. I think they have a great team, but historically Rick's teams have underperformed in the tournament, and I expect it to continue.
Okay. There you go. You heard it here. We've got a couple more here. The A-10, Richmond was a little bit of a surprise. They ended up winning outright. They had to make a big comeback. Davidson still made the field, which was a surprise to me. They were a bubble team. I thought they had to win their conference, but in this case, they got 2 teams in the A-10. Do you think Richmond can... I think they're playing Arkansas, right? Or is it...
Richmond plays Iowa.
Iowa, my bad.
Tough. I think it's a really tough matchup for Richmond. Iowa is obviously humming right now, and I don't think that Richmond's defense is good enough to stop them.
Right. Last 2, we've got the Big Ten. You already mentioned Iowa. I'm big on Iowa. I like them a lot this year, and I wouldn't say that normally. I hate their defense, but they've been playing really much better, and Keegan Murray has just taken off. I mean, he's obviously playing at another level. Plus, you've got Bohannon making some crazy shots, bank shots against your team. I'm sorry, on Saturday. So the last one was the ACC. Kind of mentioned Houston before. I thought Memphis was going to win that game. We both were on Memphis there. So they obviously showed they flexed their muscles and got their revenge finally against the Tigers. Do you think Houston can make a run like they did last year?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Me too. Me too. Just had to check. Well, let's run through these games, action. What we're going to do for our listeners, we're going to run through the Thursday and Friday games of the first round, generally talk about the games, the angles if we like them, but also kind of what the prospects of certain teams in the field in lieu of doing a full breakdown of the tournament. I think this will help you out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, let's start from the top of how it goes. We already mentioned Colorado State. They're the 6th seed against Michigan in the first game. Michigan kind of still got in, even though they lost early to your Hoosiers. But they are favored in this game by 2.5 points. 139.5 is the total. You like CSU at the 2.5 there?
I do, yeah. I jumped on this spread early. The matchup is not ideal for David Roddy, the body.
We're in the club now, baby.
Well, it's a good thing that you moisturize.
Exactly.
But I think that Michigan, they have the make of the team that sneaks in and could make a run, a la UCLA last year. But I still think that Juwan Howard's return is going to be a distraction more so. I mean, he would be wise to defer back to Martelli here, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I like CSU to come out victorious tomorrow in this game.
Well, maybe I'll go with that with you. I think in my brackets I'm picking Michigan here, mainly because I have that affinity for the Rams. My fear is the size. The Rams don't have a lot of size. Roddy's a great player. I love him. And I think that 139, that's probably a good total, if not low, for this game. But, when they face good size, they struggle. And so that's my biggest fear in that game. But neither of these teams are going to go deep, though, right?
I agree, yes.
Next game. So how about this one? This is one of our darlings to bet against. Providence, the 4 seed, is hosting, obviously, the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State, the 13 seed, who did make it through. Providence is a short favorite here of -2. The total will be 149.5. Everyone's on the Jackrabbits. I like them. I even like the money line, but does it scare you that all the sharps are on this spot?
No, not really. I mean, I think that clearly everyone had a predisposition against Providence going into the tournament because of the luck factor. We talked about the Ken Palm luck factor.
Yeah, 10-2 in 5-point games or less.
But I think that South Dakota State is really a formidable team. I mean, this is kind of a bad matchup for Providence because they can really shoot the ball. They're the best three-point shooting team in the field, and I think that's going to be difficult for Providence to contend with tomorrow.
Yeah, and they can score points. I mean, they will score. We talked about it in the conference breakdown, I think, last week. They can score over 100 points, if they want to, if they're able to shoot. They spread the floor. So, okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I was kind of worried about when everybody's talking about it, and every Visa and everywhere else they're talking about it. So
now, if this team continues to come in and Providence becomes underdog, I might look to edge back a little bit and see if I can hit a middle in a close game.
Get a middle. Yeah. Got it. Then we got Memphis versus Boise. This is a 9 versus 10. Memphis being the 9, Boise is an 8. These are basically throw out the seeds. These are even teams. Memphis is favored in this one by 2.5. The total is 133.5. I've liked Memphis for a few weeks now. I've been talking them up. Do you still think this is a good team to back?
I do, yeah. I think that Boise has some size for Mountain West Conference tournament, but going up against Memphis is going to be a whole other animal. Jalen Duren is a lottery pick, and I think that the Boise State big men are not going to be ready for what they're bringing on the inside. So I think that Memphis is a very good pick in this game.
Yeah, what about the total? 133.5. I like the under, though.
I think you would be wise to target the under in all Mountain West games.
There you go. We can maybe skip this unless you have an angle on it. Norfolk is the 16th seed against Baylor, the 1. They're 21-point favorites. Just skip.
Yeah, what do you think about Baylor in general, though, in terms of their chances in the region?
I think their region sets up that they're going to make the Elite Eight fairly easily. I don't know if they can beat Kentucky. I think that's going to be a great game, probably one of the best games of the tournament. But I think it's a collision course between Baylor and Kentucky in this region.
Okay.
What about you?
I like UCLA.
Okay. Well, I mean, and that's fine too. I think UCLA, you loved them last year. You rode Johnny Juzang to your player pool title. I'm a little worried about UCLA because they're one of these teams that they should be really good this year, but Akron, we'll talk about them later, they're a formidable team.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Let's skip. Okay, here we go. We got Longwood against Tennessee. I don't know if this is Tennessee's a 17-point favorite. Longwood's never made the tournament. Action likes the under in this one.
Yeah.
Full game and first half, which is 62.5. The full game's 132. So nothing about the side. You like the total.
Yeah, I think that Tennessee is probably the right side here. Would have a lean that way just because of their defense. But I think the stronger play is the under here. I'm not sure that Longwood, despite their good three-point shooting, is going to be able to put up many points against them. And I think that Tennessee is just going to grind this game down and get out of there with an under and a victory.
I mean, traditionally, one of these threes is going to lose.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out which
Wisconsin.
one. There you go. There we go. So this next game is the one I'm a little bit worried about. Richmond is the 12 seed against Iowa, the 5. You mentioned that you like Iowa because you think that they're just humming on all cylinders. They're a 10.5-point favorite. The total's 150.5. I do like Iowa. Honestly, and I put it on my blog. I think I'm going to stick with. I have Iowa in the Final Four. I know it's a little bit crazy, but I think they're playing really good basketball. But this game scares me. This is the game I got. They have tougher games ahead, but you underestimate a Richmond team they're hot too. I'm not loving the 10.5, but you still think they can cover that?
I do, yeah. I haven't bet it yet, and I may end up passing on the side, but I'd certainly lean to Iowa. I feel that Richmond put all of their energy into that A-10 tournament.
Okay.
And I think that they're just a really bad matchup for Iowa. They are defensively in the hundreds, and Iowa can score with the best of them. And on the flip side, I've been super impressed with Iowa's defense lately. Over the last 10 games, they are performing defense like best in the Big Ten.
I know.
So it's been super impressive, and I think that Iowa is the pick here.
But you still like the under in this one, even though Iowa can score. Iowa can score.
I do, yeah. I think this one opened up a little bit too high. I think it opened 154.
Okay.
Saw some move to the under already. I make this game like 146. So even at the current number 151, I'm playing under.
Okay. Well, let's go to this next one. So Georgia State is the 16th seed against the Zags, who are going to overall number 1. The Zags open as a 23.5-point favorite, 149.5-point total. You like the Georgia State plus 24, and I agree with you. I think that Georgia State's underseeded here. They should have been a 15 or a 14. Now, this conference always wins games. This is not the game they're going to win, but I think they have some pros on this team. I think they're going to push the Zags. I like this pick.
Yeah, agreed. This team should have been a 15 seed, and so they got a disservice by going up against Gonzaga, and really ultimately Gonzaga. Actually, it probably helps Gonzaga because it gives them a primer that they don't normally see in their conference.
Very true. Very true. I don't know about this game. Marquette against UNC. Marquette's the 9, UNC's the 8. Both teams are okay. The Carolina's 3.5-point favorites, 152-point total. It looks like a stay away for you. That's okay with me too.
Yeah, I think that ultimately I might be swayed to the Marquette side because I think that UNC is just getting overvalued based on the win against Duke. I mean, 10 days ago they were catching 12 points at Duke, and now they're laying 3.5 in a NCAA tournament game.
Like an even game, yeah.
It doesn't really add up to me, and I think that Marquette and Coach Shaka Smart know what they're doing, and I think that there could be some value on the dog.
It could be. I mean, look, Marquette, we talked about it mid-season. They had a good run. They won 7 games in the middle of the season, and then they kind of tanked. I don't know what happened. Maybe there were injuries. That style that they play will be tough for UNC. It's always the size for UNC, so I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, all right.
The 12 seed New Mexico State against UConn. This is an interesting game action. UConn's a 6.5-point favorite, 132-point total. You like the UConn guards, which I do, but New Mexico State, as we mentioned last week, has always been a tournament darling. People love to pick this upset, and it's a 12-5, which is traditional upset bill. Do you think the Aggies can pull off the upset?
I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I think that especially with these two teams that play a slower pace, you would do wise to find a lot of value on the underdog catching 6.5 points here. We in our Calcutta last night bought New Mexico State as a potential value play.
Yeah, sure.
And I think given the low score that this game is going to be close, and the underdog certainly has value.
Well, to your Calcutta point, I mean, they're in the West, right? They could, if something happens to Arkansas and New Mexico State won, they could be a Sweet 16 team pretty easily. I mean, that's kind of the way they are. Let's go to the next one. This one's probably, you do like this one. So St. Peter's, smaller school, 15 seed against Kentucky, 2 seed, probably underseeded, or maybe not 1 seed, but they were in the fringe of a 1.
Yeah.
17.5-point favorites for Kentucky, 132 points here for the total. You like Kentucky, though, to cover that 17.5.
Yeah, I think St. Peter's is the one team that probably should have flipped to Georgia State.
I agree
because this was Iona's bid,
yes,
and they got upset in the semifinals. And so now you've got a St. Peter's team that really doesn't belong, and I think Kentucky's going to smash them.
And this is the team. So you like UCLA in this region over Kentucky?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the region. The UCLA, Purdue, Kentucky, Baylor pod.
Yep.
I think that out of all those teams, I trust UCLA the most.
Okay. I'm on Kentucky, but I hear you. I mean, they're going to be good. So how about this one? We've got a 9-8 Creighton against 8 San Diego State. San Diego State is actually favored by 2.5 points. It's a very low score, 119.5. It's a rock fight. I know that Creighton can score, but this Aztec team can really strangulate you on the defensive end. I don't love that they're favored by 2.5, but that total, man, that's really low. What do you think there?
Well, Creighton is in a tough spot because they lost their point guard about 3 weeks ago, Nemhard's little brother, and they haven't really been quite the same since then, although they played really well in the conference tournament.
They did.
So I think it's going to be difficult against San Diego State without Nemhard in the lineup. And I do like the Aztecs, but I don't think I would lay the points. I like the money line here. And full disclosure, I have a little story from our Calcutta last night. We were all chatting on the phone, and we all agreed that we like San Diego State in this matchup.
Yeah.
And then someone jumped in and said, wow, the price on Creighton is just crazy right now. And I kind of panicked, and I accidentally bid on them. And we won them. And so we have Creighton in the Calcutta, and we're all like,
oh well,
maybe they'll win. But I do like San Diego State still.
Yeah, I like them too. Of all the Mountain West teams, I like them the best.
This is another game where I played first half under just this afternoon, sitting at the Paris Sportsbook. 55.5. It's a super low total, but it's a early window game and neutral site venue. I think it's going to be really slow to start.
Agreed. All right, so this one is important for my bracket too. Vermont is playing Arkansas. So Vermont's the 13 seed, Arkansas the 4 seed. It's in that same West bracket, West region. Arkansas is a 5-point favorite, 139-point total. I'm a little worried about this. I have Arkansas in the Sweet 16. I really like that team. I've liked them for a while. If you listen to the podcast, I talk about them every week. But the Catamounts are legit. I mean, they beat everybody in their conference by 20 points or more. I'm not sure I would lay these 5 points.
I agree. I took Vermont plus the points here. I think this is another game that lines up to be a little bit low scoring. You've already seen the move to the under, 141 down to 139. And I think that Vermont's style is going to surprise Arkansas a little bit. They really are a smart team. They look to take the easiest shot that is available to them every time down.
Right.
And I have a feeling that Arkansas is going to fall in love with the 3-point shot a little bit too much tomorrow.
Yeah, JD Note can do that. So, is he on your team?
I did not take
no,
that
was Cola's guy. All right, so this one's a really good matchup. The 10 seed San Francisco against 7 Murray State. Murray State is favored in the matchup, -1, and 137 is the total. I mean, the Racers are a media darling. Everybody loves this team. Some people love them. I heard somebody take them to the Final Four. I think that's a little crazy.
Wow.
The Dons are solid, though. They've had a good season. They couldn't beat the best teams in their conference, both St. Mary's and the Zags, but they have size. I mean, it's obviously a pick-em for a reason, but what do you think about this matchup?
Well, I mean, sharp move to Murray State in this game.
Yeah.
First of all, opened at 2+2, and now Murray State is -2 favorite.
Interesting.
So, big-time move to the Racers, and I think there's good reason for it. This Murray State team is seasoned, and they've got some extremely good guards. And I like them in this matchup. I like them to beat Kentucky as well. I think I'm going to put that into my bracket.
Wow,
for those of you who are listening
okay.
In our bracket pool.
They're going to be the kings of Kentucky. I think they're a Kentucky team. Okay, good for you. All right, here we go. Oh, you've got them twice. This isn't right. Akron against UCLA. Is that right? Oh, I guess it is. Okay, so 13 seed is, I wrote it out. Akron is 13 seed against UCLA, the 4 seed. UCLA is a heavy favorite here, -14, 128.5 point total. MAC teams are tough in the dance, man. 14's a big number. I don't. Is UCLA going to stomp this team? Now the Zips were not the favorite. Okay, the Rockets were the favorite.
Yep.
But this is John Gross. He coached actually at Ohio University. He coached Illinois. He's brought teams to the dance before. I think they're going to be ready. I would do the +14 here. I don't necessarily know they'll win outright, but I'm a little worried for UCLA in this matchup.
I think you're right. I think there's value on the points here. Another game where the total has gone down from 130.5 at an open to 128.5. And a 14-point spread certainly would lend itself to some value there, especially when you have a UCLA team that likes to play those low-scoring contests.
Sure. All right, there we go. I'm going to be on my card tomorrow.
I like it.
We got a 16 seed Texas Southern. They won last night. They've won 3 times now in the first 4, but they obviously get to play Kansas again on 1 seed. They're 22-point dogs here, 144.5 point total. No play on this one?
Should have known Texas Southern last night. They're the playing darling.
Sorry, man. Should have asked me. You just wanted what was it? Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Well, Lutz is ex-Purdue guy, so their coach is a former Purdue assistant.
Very
anyway.
Last game on the card is your guys. Your dad's guys. Mark's guys. So the 12 seed is Indiana. They won last night. They look good versus 5 St. Mary's. A 2.5 point favorite for St. Mary's here. 126.5 point total. I like the Hoosiers here, and I think St. Mary's is a really good ball club. They do not match up well against this team. Indiana has size. Your guy, what is it? Trace
Jackson Davis.
I didn't realize he's Dale Davis's kid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. It makes sense.
He's got some pedigree.
The dude played great last night. 29 points in his debut. He's on fire. The whole team is playing good. I think the big guy for them, but the key guy is Geronimo.
Oh, he was awesome.
He was great, and I guess he was hurt against Iowa.
Yeah, he hurt.
So I'm all in on the money line, and I'll take the +2.5 and the money line in this one for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I agree. I betted 136, +136 this afternoon. I think that Indiana is on a roll right now.
They are.
They were the best team in Indianapolis last week.
They were.
They had Iowa on the ropes for
did.
45 minutes. 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And they probably would have beaten Purdue on Sunday, too. I believe that.
I think they would have, yeah.
And I think that this St. Mary's team is not a good matchup for Indiana. They don't really have anybody inside who can match up with TJD and Race Thompson. And the key for Indiana has been getting back Trey Galloway defensively. They are a much better defensive team with him in the lineup.
Gotcha.
I also like the under in this one tomorrow. We saw it last night in the play-in game. Very slow start. Indiana likes to play slow, and St. Mary's will happily oblige. So 126 under. I also played under first half.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's move to the Friday games and look at that part of the bracket. You've got Loyola is getting the 10 seed against Ohio State. This is a pick'em action. 132.5 point total. The Ramblers are sexy, right? They've won big games. They went to the Final Four a few years ago. They went to Sweet 16 last year. I don't know. Ohio State has kind of been reeling. It seems like it makes sense. The line seems to have been appropriate. But are you going to actually bet this line, bet the pick, and bet on Loyola?
Yes, I like Loyola in this game. They have the tournament pedigree, despite the new coach and Valentine taking over for Porter Moser. They still have the same cast of characters, and I think that Ohio State has been reeling lately, and they don't play defense. So I think they're going to get beat on Friday.
Okay, there you go. First one right out of the gate. The 15 seed Jacksonville State was playing Auburn, the 2 seed. Auburn's a 15.5 point favorite, 138.5 point total. This is a really weird situation, Jacksonville State didn't actually win their conference tournament, but because they had the other team that wasn't eligible yet, they get the bid, which is kind of goofy. I think they're just going to be happy to be there. I'm not sure I'd lay the points, but I do like Auburn fairly deep in this bracket. Jabari Smith's really good, and more importantly, I don't know, Pearl can coach the hell out of them in the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, they drew a pretty easy pod, to be honest, with Wisconsin in their quadrant. Wisconsin. So I agree. I think Auburn could make a little run, although I don't really trust them in end-game situations.
Right.
They don't really get Jabari Smith shots when he needs to. And ultimately, I have a feeling that's going to bite them before they get to the real latter stages of the tournament.
Oh, we got some action here. We got some action here at Bally's. All right, let's keep going. Here we go. So Montana State, the 14 seed, is playing Texas Tech, the 3 seed. Texas Tech is a 15-point favorite in this, which is a big favorite, 132.5. I think that's too many points, action. I'm not necessarily going to lay it, but I wouldn't lay. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take it, but I would not lay it with Texas Tech. I love Texas Tech in general, but that's a big number, isn't it?
Yeah, betting them as a heavy favorite is not ideal, given the fact that they like to play low-scoring games, and they're not really a potent offense. So you got to figure they'll be able to shut down Montana State's offense, but certainly won't expect them to cover 15.
Now you have that ticket on them to win it all. How do you like their bracket? I mean, I see them going fairly deep in this one, given the layout.
Yeah, agreed. I think Gonzaga has a tough road before they even would meet in the Elite Eight.
Right.
And so I think that Texas Tech is certainly live in this portion of the bracket.
Gotcha.
Because I think Duke's going to get beat too.
I agree. I think they're going. I got them in the Elite Eight personally, so I hear you. Okay, here's your team. Yale 14 going against Purdue the 3. We watched this at stadiums from last year when Purdue went North Texas. No, I know, but I mean it went down in flames. Were they a 2 or a 3 seed?
They were a 3 last year.
Yeah, similar situation. Do you think that this they can get over their demons and have too much sides for this update? They're 16-point favorite in this one.
Yeah, Yale is no good. This was supposed to be Princeton in this spot, and I think the committee just got lazy and just put Yale in their spot because Yale should really be a 16 seed.
Yes.
I think Purdue got lucky in this spot, and they're going to smash Yale.
Yeah, they should dominate them inside. Okay, the next one's 15 seed Delaware against Villanova. Villanova's a 15.5 point favorite, 133.5 point total. Again, some big numbers here. Delaware is, they weren't even the CAA regular season champions, so this is more an appropriate seeding for them. It's a lot of number. I mean, 15.5 for 133.5 point total seems like a lot, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but I think that Villanova's defense is going to be able to shut down Delaware, and I would probably lean to the favorite in this one, to be honest.
And how do you like Nova's prospects? They're the 2 seed in they're actually in Arizona's region in the South. Do you see them getting past Tennessee, or do you think they're going to?
I would favor. I really would. I'd favor Villanova in that game slightly, just because of the coaching edge. I mentioned it earlier. I don't trust Rick Barnes, and I think that Jay Wright has proven his mettle in the most recent tournaments. Got their championship, and they got over that hump. And I think that Colin Gillespie is seasoned, and he's going to be able to carry them.
He's really good. All right, so this is kind of I don't know if I care about this game, but Miami 10 seed against 7 USC.
USC's your team.
Well, they were last year.
Oh, okay.
I like the other Mobley. I'm like, this Mobley's fine. He's fine. Look,
he's not Evan Mobley.
No, their USC's a 1.5 point favorite, 139.5 point total. Look, I think they have a lot of size for Miami. I'm not sure if they face this size, but this is appropriate line. I don't know who's going to win this game, and I'm going to just watch it. I'm not really going to jump in on either way. I like USC in general, but this year that's not the same team as last year.
Agree. I think this is a straight up pass for me.
So this one is the one we were discussing before. Virginia Tech's an 11 seed here, and facing Texas, the 6 seed. But Texas only a short 1 point favorite here, 123.5 point total. I mean, I do like the Hokies a lot, and it's not necessarily just the run. As I said, their metrics weren't matching up to their results. So Texas, to me, we've talked about them. They've underperformed. I think they're going to get beaten this one. I wish it was a bigger number, but I guess I'll take the money line and +1. I mean, I don't know about you.
I'm opposed to you in this game. I think that Texas defensively is going to be a bad matchup for Virginia Tech on the inside. And I think that they're going to be able to shut down Storm Murphy as well. And I like Texas to win this one.
Okay. All right. We're on opposite sides. We got to hit each other's head in once in a while. All right. How about this one? The 13 seed Chattanooga is playing Illinois, the 4 seed. My Illini. So they were Illinois' 7.5 point favorites, 135.5 point total. I think Chattanooga's a really dangerous team. I think that they have NBA level players. They may not make the NBA, but they could definitely play in the D League. And Illinois is super inconsistent. 7.5 points is way too much for this one. I take Chattanooga, and I've actually got them winning the game in my bracket.
Wow, nice. I like the dog in this one too. I'm not sure that I'll be on the money line, to be honest, but I did take 7.5 points as well. And I think that this is a senior-laden team, and they are going to be ready to play. I do think that Kofi Coburn is going to be a problem for them inside.
He's a problem for everybody.
He's gonna get his points, but Chattanooga is going to score too. And if Coburn gets in foul trouble at all in this game, I think Chattanooga could be very live.
And that's what I'm looking for. They almost always have that happen. And 7.5 is just too big of a number. Okay, so let's do this one. Cal State Fullerton, the 15 seed against the 2 Duke. Duke is 18.5 point favorites, 146.5 in the total. I mean, obviously, Paolo Banchero is looking for his NBA check soon. They're going to win this game. I don't know if Cal State Fullerton can run with this team, but 18.5 is a big number. I wouldn't lay it.
Yeah, looks like it's growing. 19, at least 1 or 2 shops here in town. So it looks like Duke may be the side, but I'm going to be passing as well.
Yeah. Let's go to this next one. 11 seed Iowa State is playing 6 seed LSU. This is kind of a who cares game for me too action. But we've got to talk about something here. LSU is a 4 point favorite in this one, 127.5 point total. They finally fired Wade, Coach Wade. Why it took 3-4 years, I had no idea, but all of a sudden they're going to fire him. We all knew this all happened, but do you think that will inspire them to play better, or they're going to trade him?
I don't think it's going to have an impact on game 1. To be honest, I didn't factor it into my handicap. I think if they win and they play on the weekend, LSU is like 1A on my fate list. In this game, though, I think there's value on Iowa State. I do. This is a team that plays really well defensively, and this is going to be a low-scoring game. 4.5 could be good value.
Yeah, I mean, both teams play really good defense, so it'll be lower scoring. So you're right, 4 points, a lot of points there. How about this one? 12 seed UAB versus Houston, the 5 seed. This is also in the South region. 8.5 point favorite for Houston, 136 point total. I don't understand this line. I think it's too big. I mean, I know that they're looking at KenPom. We know that it's kind of weird. In KenPom and in your action index, Houston is rated really high. They have struggled in their conference. Only 2 teams made the dance. I mean, what's his name? Jordan Jelly. What's his name?
Oh, Jelly Bean. Yeah,
Jelly,
Jelly something.
The guy's Jelly, man. How can he go against Jelly? I actually have them winning this game. I know it's this is one of these surprise picks.
Wow.
8.5's a big spread, but I'm going to put the money on there. I think the Blazers have 4 transfers that were at big-time programs. Houston actually is ready for them because they played this guy before, the Jelly guy.
Sure.
But I don't like Houston to score that many points. I mean, 8.5, that's a big number for 136-point total.
Family reunion over here.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I agree. I think that there's value on the dog here. UAB can actually rebound, so they'll be able to hold their own on the glass, which is always key against Houston. I don't know. I'll be on the money line, but I do think that 8.5 is too many.
Gotcha. A couple more games here. We've got the 10 seed Davidson against the 7 Michigan State. We've got Michigan State as a short favorite, -1, and the total of 140.5. You already said you like Davidson in this matchup.
Yep.
And you said you like Davidson to beat somebody in the next one, Duke?
I think Davidson's going to beat Duke.
Wow, look at this guy going all out.
Yeah.
What makes you say that? I mean, you could skip this game.
All right.
I'm on. I know Sparty's not that great. I get that. So
I don't think that Duke is going to be willing to defend, and this Davidson team can shoot it from outside from almost every position. And I think that it's going to be a shootout, and Davidson's going to beat them.
love it. I want to see that. It'll be on. I guess this will be on Sunday, so it'll be home.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more games. 14 seed Colgate versus the 3 seed Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 7.5 point favorite, 139 point total. My question is Johnny Davis healthy?
No.
He was definitely not healthy this weekend when he played. Who was it? Indiana?
They lost to Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
They looked so bad. He looked so bad. He was 3 for 18. He was terrible. We were actually messaging about it. I couldn't believe it. I was actually on the Ravon chat, and I was hosting Wisconsin, and I was like, the first 5 seconds I could tell that he wasn't healthy. Now, he's had a few days off, but ankle injuries don't heal in a week.
Right.
And I don't think so. I picked this upset as well, Colgate to beat Wisconsin.
Yep, plus 275. I don't know what the current number. It looks like you can get some higher numbers now. Anyway. And I agree. I think that this is another team that shoots the ball really well. And Wisconsin, although typically very good on defense, is not going to be able to match up with Colgate from the outside. And if Johnny Davis isn't healthy, which I don't believe he is, Wisconsin is a very mediocre team. And I think that plus 300 or so on the money line is significant value.
Well, that Michigan State game, Davison was the only one who could score. They had one other guy. It was the freshman point guard.
Oh, Hepburn.
He was pretty good. Other than that, their interior players don't score. I mean, he talks about this Tyler Wall guy. He was average. So I agree, man. It's just they're ripe for an upset. I'll definitely take those points and then probably lay the money line. So a couple more. We got a TCU, the 9 seed, playing against the 8 seed Seton Hall. This is a 1-point game for Seton Hall and 130-point total. It's a who cares game to me. I don't know if we'll watch it, but whatever.
I lean to TCU in this game. I think they're going to be tougher than Seton Hall.
Okay. And the 16 seed, I guess that's going to be Wright State. Did they win officially?
Wright State versus Arizona.
The representative of the Horizon won today. They beat Brian and your guy Kiss, so he's out. No more flexing. They're going to play the 1 seed Arizona. Do you have a line on that?
No line yet.
I would say they're probably going to be a 20-plus point favorite, right? Would you lay the points, or is Wright State going to be game?
No, I think Wright State is valiant. They can score, and I like the over right off the bat. I don't know what the number's going to be, but I expect that there's going to be a lot of points in this matchup.
I like that. I like that a lot. So the last game on the card is going to be either the 11 seed Rutgers or Notre Dame in the play-in game it's going to happen any minute now, versus Alabama, which is the 6th seed here. You know, Alabama's been trending the wrong way. I will tell you that right now. I think we're both like Rutgers tonight. It's a little bit later, but I like Rutgers to beat Bama, personally. I know their defense is there. You've got, what's his name? You've got Ron Harper Jr. in the pool, which I thought was a good pick. You get 2 games at least out of him. So, I mean, we don't have a number on this, but what would you think the number would be? I mean, like a 6-8 point game?
I think 6-7 seems about right. I can't get to my index right now, but I think if I did look at this game, and I think that Rutgers is going to be a live dog for sure.
Yeah, I think Bama's just, I don't know what's going on with that team. Nate Oates is a good coach, but they're just not playing good. They're playing a tough SEC, but Rutgers, obviously, they won some big games in the Big Ten. Just so I throw it out there for our listeners, what if Notre Dame won the game? Would you have the same feeling about Notre Dame against?
No, I think Notre Dame is hot garbage.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like Alabama in that case.
Exactly. So we'll reverse it if Notre Dame somehow pulls it out tonight. So we've kind of talked about everybody, kind of given some ideas about where we're at. Well, maybe not full decisions on Final Four, but for your brackets, you can listen to us. You want me to go first? You already have it written down, so you might as well give your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from the chalk this year for the most part. I do have 2 number 1 seeds, but I think that there's going to be a lot of upsets in this tournament. We've seen it in the last several weeks that no team is really unbeatable.
Right.
And I for one think Gonzaga is going to lose. I like Texas Tech in that region.
Okay.
I think that Arizona is going to come out of the South.
Yep.
And then I will take Kansas in the Midwest just because I think it's a little bit of an easier region, despite Iowa being in their pot.
Right.
And I'm going to take UCLA to repeat, going back to the Final Four out of the tough East.
Wow, Mick Cronin. So we differ quite a bit this year, Action. I mean, that sometimes happens. Action likes to be, he's a risk taker a little more than me, I guess. I still have the Zags in the West, and I get what you're saying. I have the Zags against Texas Tech, so that's a pick-em game to me when they play in the Elite Eight. I do think that Arkansas could possibly knock off the Zags there, but even Memphis could, to be honest with you.
Yep,
But
agreed.
I just think that the Zags, Holmgren played so well in the West Coast Conference final and stuff. I just think it's going to be a coming-out party for him, so he's going to be a force. On the other side, I do like Arizona, as you mentioned as well. Now, granted, Houston I got Houston losing early, but they could do something. I got Tennessee coming in there, but I think I like Arizona. Where we differ quite a bit is like Midwest, Kansas. I don't know if I trust this team. I think they're good. That Iowa-Kansas game is going to be the winner of that game. To me, is going to the Final Four.
Yep.
I do think that you're going to get maybe an Auburn out of the bottom. I think the bottom is garbage in this pod, as you said. And then lastly, in the East, I've got Kentucky. You've got Murray State beating them, which, hey, of course they can. But our guy Sheetway's on that team. I think they're an older group of players, so I think they're going to be game. But I do think it's going to be. It's interesting to pick UCLA. I do have UCLA losing to Baylor, and I have Baylor in Kentucky. But in the end, a little bit different, but we still have the core group of teams in probably the Elite Eight, Sweet 16.
Yeah, I like it. Who's your champion?
I have Arizona winning.
Oh, me too.
Yes, I mean I think. To me, a lot of people pick the Zags, and maybe people pick Kentucky or something, but I do like Arizona. They have the talent, and I mean, obviously Tommy Lloyd, the Zags guy, wouldn't it be bad? He's with the Zags for all those years, and he goes first year and he beats them.
That would be awesome.
That'd be rough. That's how I have it. So.
Great.
Well, anyway, that wraps us up, guys. This is, this is live from Vegas, baby. This is our big trip. We've done this the last couple of years. It's a good time. I'm excited. We'll be at Stadium Swim tomorrow. Drinking it up, checking out the non-kilts, and hopefully some green beer, as you said, and winning some games.
Can't wait. Stadium Swim, Thursday, NCAA tournament basketball is the greatest place.
Yeah, can't get any better. Well, good luck with your brackets. We'll check in with you next week before the Sweet 16, and get your bracket picks in, and most importantly, get some picks on some of these money lines and win some money.
That's right.
Thanks, everybody.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Side Action Podcast. We appreciate all of your listens and thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again next week on Thursday for some more hot picks and side action. Side Action Podcast, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this podcast, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. Individuals following the advice given on the podcast accept their own risk of losses from wagers made, as the Side Action Podcast, its owners, hosts, associates, or guests will not guarantee any advice given. The opinions and advice given on the Side Action Podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Intro and outro and transition music credits. Song titles Jerry 5 and District 4 by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.org. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. creativecommons.org/licenses/by 3.0.